there! Today I'm talking about ZipForm for Realtors. I'm going to walk you through some tips and tricks about using ZipForms for Realtors. Let's get started. If this is your first time visiting my channel, thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Carrie Jonicas and I am the proud owner and a transaction manager at Amplify Transaction Services. If you would like to learn more information about how we can help you, you can visit our website at www.amplifytransactions.com. Now let's head on over to the computer so I can share those tips and tricks about using ZipForms for Realtors.
Right, I am going to share 10 tips for using ZipForms as a realtor or real estate agent. The first tip that I have is to create templates for the most common documents that you are using. This is going to be true for whatever system that you are using, but I strongly advise you to set up those templates and forms. That way it makes it easiest for you to get your work done. I am all about efficiency, and as a realtor, you have to be looking at efficiency constantly to ensure that you are spending the least amount of time doing things that are not income producing. You want to spend the most time doing those income producing tasks. So let's take a look at the forms and checklists very briefly. I will do another video that's a little bit more comprehensive in the future about how to set up the forms and checklists. I have a folder set up for buyer documents. And so this one has a template for buyer agency contract, and then the South Carolina disclosure of real estate brokerage relationships, and that is for in South Carolina, of course. If you are in another state, of course, your documents might be a little bit different in what you're required. So this is where I would recommend that you are setting up a folder of documents so you can easily access all of the documents that you need and get them done really quickly. And then another example would be to put maybe a folder of your listing agreement and your disclosures, anything you need on the list side. And then you might also want to create a folder for buyer docs under contract. So maybe you'll have a repair addendum or a regular addendum that's already set up so you can easily access them. Now, inside of ZipForms, it is really nice if your association is connected to your ZipForms. You will be able to easily access documents, pull them into a transaction, and fill them out as you go. But it is really nice to have templates set up. Number 2 on the list is to create folders for each file that you're working on. I strongly advise that if you are using the client's last name, that you are also putting whether it is the buy or the sell side, because sometimes you'll have a transaction where that client is buying and selling, and if you have it just listed as their name, it will make it really difficult for you if you are working on the listing side and then need to go on the contract side. It'll be a lot more challenging for you to try to navigate between the two, and you might accidentally put documents in the wrong transaction. So organizing those folders is really important, and finding a way that is easy for you. Now, what works for me might not work for you, so make sure that you are working in a way that is making you most efficient. But please keep in mind that you do want to label them and what they are. Do not just use the client's name. Make sure that you use their name and then whether they're a buyer or a seller, or also naming it with the property address, because that will be most helpful when you are working with a client. Also, they could in the future decide to sell again. Maybe they're selling the property, or maybe they're purchasing the property now, and then in a year they want to sell it. So you also want to make sure that you're differentiating between the seller side and buyer side. So make sure you're labeling them correctly. You can use the task tab inside of ZipForms. That will help you to know what you need to do in your transactions. and what is the most time pressing. So you can create a checklist that you upload for every transaction that you're working on. I also recommend when you are saving your documents, you save them in a very specific manner. Now, I talk about this on other videos that I have done as well, with talking about organizing files in Google Drive. I will link that up above, but you definitely want to try to do this in transaction inside of ZipForms as well. And the way that I do it is the client's last name, the property address, and then what the document is. You can do that inside of ZipForms as well. And then when you download the document after it's signed, it'll make it very easy to upload that to your Google Drive, making it less work for you. This also helps you to keep things organized. So if you ever need to search for anything, you will be able to find it. You can then add the tasks from Transaction Desk to your Google Calendar, which then could make an extra checkpoint for you to ensure that you are getting everything done that needs to get done for your transaction. There is a contacts list inside of ZipForms, and this is a great way to keep a list of your contacts. I strongly advise that you are making sure that this is up to date. That way, when you have a client who you're putting in their information or have a transaction, it'll make it very easy for you to be able to send them documents, and then you're not wasting time once you have that transaction with them, updating their information. I also recommend once you close a transaction, you archive that transaction, because that will keep things much more organized and clear. If you are clouded with a lot of files that are not active, that is going to cloud up your transactions tab, and it's going to make it more difficult for you to find things. So I strongly advise archiving things. You can add that to your checklist, which can add to your calendar as part of your transaction process. And then finally, I definitely don't recommend you using ZipForms exclusively to store your documents. You should always make a backup of those documents. And what I recommend is once you get the documents fully signed, I recommend that you save those documents to your Google Drive. And when they come into your email after they have been signed, it's really easy to upload them from your email to Google Drive.
I hope this information was helpful for you. If it was, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you would like to learn more information about organizing your real estate business, make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you would like help with your real estate transaction coordination or listing management, we would love to help you. Please visit our website at www.amplifytransactions.com. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.